When people remember Donald O'Connor, they remember the flips, the impossible energy, the man who could run up a wall and still land with a grin. But behind that dazzling athleticism was a performer shaped by hardship from the very beginning. Born into a vaudeville family in Chicago, he grew up on the road, learning timing before he learned algebra, absorbing applause as if it were oxygen. Tragedy struck early with the loss of siblings, yet instead of breaking him, it carved into him a resilience that would define his life. By the time he reached Hollywood as a child actor, he wasn't just talented, he was battle-tested. Through the 1930s and 40s, he became one of Universal's most dependable young stars, effortlessly transitioning from boyish sidekick to leading man, charming audiences with musical comedies and quick-footed dance routines that made everything look easy. Then came 1952, and history. In Singin' in the Rain, alongside Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds, O'Connor delivered one of the most explosive performances of Hollywood's golden age. His number, Make 'Em Laugh, was pure controlled chaos, slapstick genius fused with Olympic-level stamina. It reportedly left him bedridden for days. But when he spoke about that film later in life, his pride wasn't centered on himself. It was on Debbie. He never hesitated when asked about her. "She was one of the hardest-working women I ever met," he said. At the time, Reynolds had little formal dance training, yet she was suddenly keeping pace with two seasoned professionals. O'Connor watched her rehearse until exhaustion, blistered and determined, refusing to fall behind. He didn't just admire her talent, he respected her grit. Off camera, he described her as delightful, funny, magnetic. "She could light up a room," he would say, and you believed him. In an industry that could be ruthless, he saw her kindness. In a system that demanded perfection, he saw her perseverance. He understood the quiet pressure she carried, personal heartbreaks, studio demands, relentless scrutiny, and he marveled that she kept smiling through it all. To him, she wasn't simply the luminous ingenue splashing in the rain. She was strength wrapped in sparkle. Debbie was like family, he admitted in later interviews, hinting at a bond forged in the trenches of studio-era filmmaking. They had survived grueling schedules, perfectionist choreography, and the weight of expectation together. That kind of shared experience creates something deeper than co-stardom. It creates kinship. As the decades passed, O'Connor's career stretched across television, Las Vegas stages, Broadway, even later films like Out to Sea, proving his comic timing never faded. Yet his body eventually began to pay the price for years of physical brilliance. A quadruple bypass in 1990. A near-fatal bout of pneumonia in 1999. Still, the same resilience that carried him through childhood tragedy and Hollywood pressure carried him through hospital rooms. When he reflected on his life near the end, there was gratitude in his voice. Gratitude for the laughter. Gratitude for the music. And always, warmth when Debbie's name surfaced. "There'll never be another Debbie Reynolds," he said. It wasn't nostalgia. It was certainty. On September 27, 2003, Donald O'Connor passed away at the Motion Picture and Television Country House in Woodland Hills, closing the curtain on a life that began in vaudeville and helped define the movie musical. But in his reflections, in his praise of a co-star who became a friend, we glimpse something deeper than choreography or comedy. We see a man who understood that behind the sequins and spotlight were human beings, tired, determined, vulnerable, and brave. And in sharing his true feelings about Debbie Reynolds, he left us not just a tribute to her, but a reminder that the greatest performances are built on respect, resilience, and heart.